In this video, we're going to look at the negation of if-then statements, and then we're also going to look at some other ways that we could rewrite an if-then statement as an or statement. And so, the first thing we'll talk about, we'll take a look at, is the negation of an if-then statement. So if we have the statement if P then Q, then we can take the negation and write that as P and not Q. So if we were to negate this, if P then Q, the logical equivalent of that, it is not true, is P and not Q. So let's write this statement, take this statement, and we're going to write the negation of this statement. So our statement here, if Ella reaches that note, she will shatter the glass. So this is an if-then statement. Ella reaches the note, that is our statement P. We can think about this as then she will shatter the glass. That is our statement Q. And so our negation is going to be P. Ella reaches that note. And she does not shatter the glass. That is our negation of this conditional. So whenever you have a conditional, the way that you will negate it, the way that you will say, it is not true that if P then Q, is by saying P and not Q. Now we could also, if we're not finding the negation of a conditional statement, there is a way that we can rewrite a conditional statement as an or statement. So if we start with the conditional statement, P implies Q, we could say this is logically equivalent to, we could rewrite this as the or statement, not P, or it is Q. Right? So it's not P or Q. That is, those will be logically equivalent. If you build a truth table for this, and you build a truth table for this, then the columns of those two truth tables, that final column of those two truth tables, will be exactly identical. These will be true whenever these are true, and these will be false whenever these are false. They will be true and false in exactly the same places. So if we start with a conditional, we start with this if-then statement. If she doesn't, he will. So if she doesn't, then he will. This is our P. This is the Q. And so if we wanted to rewrite that as an if-then, that if-then statement as an or statement, we can say, so actually this is, if we were to say P is she does, so she doesn't, we'll just call all that P. Then when we write this as an or statement, we could say she does, the opposite of P, right? So P is she doesn't, so the opposite of that, the negation of just that portion, is she does, or he will. And so that would be the logical equivalent of that statement. Fantastic. So that is how we do negations of if-thens. It's also how we can rewrite if-then, the conditionals, as or statements. In our final video, we'll look at examples of everything that we talked about in this section.